In this video, we're going to talk about the Scorched being broken beyond repair, and you won't believe how and why this happened. Alrighty then, this is a comic book review of The Scorched, issue number 39, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. So previously in The Scorched, the team is still suffering from the events of Medieval Spawn's rescue. So we go into this monologue months ago, and it's the monologue of the Redeemer. Like, who am I? What happened here? How did I get here? The answers I got made little sense. And the Redeemer comes up to him like, the green world didn't want you. They wouldn't take you. It's why I brought you here, to hide you away from the influence of blood and the vampires. Now you're safe. Now in previous Spawn issues, blood overtook the Reaper and turned him into a vampire when in between after Spawn events 350, where the Hell Spawns lost their powers and they all were going trying to survive and not get killed by the vampires. Reapers was a vampire. So now Redeemer tells him to heal. His name is Jim Downing. Somehow I remember that, but my other memories return slower and more painfully. In my dreams, feverish delusions, I saw everything I am, everything I have been. Eddie Frank, that's who I am. Older brother to Andy, my sweet doomed little brother. He's also a victim at the hands of Officer Joe Frank, my sadist and abusive father. With his death, I am also a murderer and an orphan. And it is a callback to Spawn issue number 29, I believe, how Spawn saved Eddie Frank and his brother Andy from their abusive father. I did do a review on that. That was a pretty powerful issue. But now Redeemer goes into his other monologue, and then soon he is a pawn in the endless war between heaven and hell. Much like the monster known as Spawn who introduced me into this world, I am or was Redeemer briefly, and now I am Reaper. And part of the group of Hell soldiers known as the Scorched. That's the team, but my recovery was slow as dark visions continued to assault me. Both visions of the past and the future, with a vision of a face I see over and over again of he who has taken over the mantle of Redeemer. In a far-flung future where all has been lost, and I know what I must do. And that is the end of his prologue. Yo, that is pretty mysterious right there, and also pretty foreboding too. So back to today, we see Mark Rosen working on Overkill, or bringing him back. And now the current Redeemer is like, yo, can you bring him back? What's up with that? You're gonna have to have patience. Mark tells him, first, I need to keep Overkill's brain and mainframe stable and minimal functionality, but I need a few days to diagnose what parts we'll need to make him whole again. Then that's just the beginning, and then he's not even nowhere near ready to be combat ready, so I gotta get him up to speed on that too. But to be honest, I've got other priorities right now. And Redeemer knows what's up, like, Mark, don't do it. Don't let Medieval Spawn back into your head. He'll destroy you from the inside. And Mark is like, I'm going through withdrawals, man. I need him. You saw what happens when I'm without him. My brain's already running, so don't tell me what to do, alright? So Mark Rosen looks at the Medieval Spawn and like, damn it, I'm gonna bring him back if I want to. But why are you doing this to me, huh? Why are you creating so much chaos, John of York? Why can't I let you go? Why am I so obsessed with you? And then he has a quick flashback of the Black Brotherhood telling him from the previous Scorched issue and Scorched issue number 38. Now that we know John of York hides in you, if he does so again and you let him in, we'll behead both of you at the exact moment. And the Black Brotherhood, they're not with evil, they're not with heaven, they're not with hell, they're just for themselves, and they want Medieval Spawn for themselves. So all Mark Rosen can do is like, you know what, I don't give a damn what any of them want to do, I need my Medieval Spawn back. And he puts on the helmet and Medieval Spawn returns like, I have returned, Mark Rosen. For that you have my thanks. For what happens next, my apologies. And let's just admire that real quick, because now the coffee's really kicking in right now. And also, don't forget to check out RatedComics.com for some really cool limited print rated comic exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry, and also don't forget to check out other comic books that we have on our website that we ship, and our packaging is pristine. You'll see what I mean. Anyways, back into the content. So now the Redeemer's outside talking to Daniel Kilgore like, you think Medieval spawns back for good? It appears so, says Daniel, but the bigger question is, will Medieval allow Mark to ever return back? With all of our powers recently being restored, it's possible Medieval spawn won't ever want to disappear again. And that's true. Mark Rosen could be lost for good, which would put the cohesion of the Scorched team at jeopardy. We are already fragile as it is. I mean, really, what are we doing here? What's our damn purpose? You're an agent of heaven. I am a man of ectoplasm. I'm neither heaven or hell. And now we're taking orders from hell spawns? And Redeemer's like, bro, you okay? And Daniel Kilgore's like, maybe serving hell spawns is a mistake. And Redeemer's like, look, man, we've all been through a lot recently. You need to get some rest. You ain't thinking clearly. Now, Daniel Kilgore turning into Hot decks him in the face like, oh no, I am thinking clearly, all right? So let's do this. And Redeemer is the cool collective head like, look, I'm gonna let you have that punch for free, but think carefully about your next move. And Han's like, do you think you scare me? And Redeemer's like, you tell me, because I am sure as crap ain't scared of you, so touch me again and I'll make you my enemy. And Han's like, okay, let me go back to Daniel Kilgore. So Redeemer's like, get your head straight, get your head out your ass, you need some rest. You're acting crazy like Mark, all right? So he goes to visit Jessica Priest, knocks on her door, and Jessica's still grieving that now that she has her powers again, she can never see her daughter. And her having lost her powers in previous issues gave her some semblance and some hope of a normal life. Now that she has her powers again, that hope is gone. Obviously, Jessica Priest don't want to see Redeemer. And Redeemer's like, what the hell's going on? We begged to get our powers back and now everyone's going crazy. What the freak is all this about? And what about you, John of York? Are you gonna go fucking batshit crazy too? Are you gonna fall apart? And Medieval Spawn's like, nope, good to hear, but I'm gonna need Mark Rosen back so he can fix Overkill for us, okay? Can you do that? Nope. What the fuck do you mean about that, Medieval Spawn? Well, he didn't say that, I'm just kind of being dramatic. We need that nerdy brain of Mark. Bring him back to me. Rosen is a weak liability and he is a risk to his life and mine. So you're saying you're not going to return Mark Rosen? That's precisely what I'm saying. And these brothers want smoke right now because in Medieval Spawn's eyes, he don't want to lose his powers again. He don't want to get captured by the Brotherhood again. So Medieval Spawn's like, we are at war and the first casualty is always weakness. Redeemer's like, weakness is being smart enough to understand when you need something. And right now, we both need Mark, an Overkill, and a healthy one on our side. And Medieval Spawn's like, no, we need power on our side, not a human, not some busted metal soldier. And then Redeemer's like, you were a human, have you forgotten that? Yeah, says Medieval Spawn, and being human is exactly what got me killed. So Redeemer unleashes his blast on him, and Medieval Spawn's like, you gonna come at me with that weak stuff? I've witnessed enough slaughter back in my day to know humans can't protect themselves. We have to do that for them. And he claps back at the Redeemer. Listen, bruh, I would rather not hurt you. I've grown to respect you as a warrior for good. Then why are you doing this? Because, says Redeemer, I've been betrayed too many times by those who once called me friend. I'll not deal with another traitor. Oh, that's very foreshadowing right there, because in the beginning of the Scorched issues, they did foreshadow a traitor amongst the team, and that has never been addressed until it appears now. So now off panel, we get someone saying kill him, and that is Eddie Frank. Better yet, step aside and let me have the pleasure of killing him. You see, he's been lying, keeping you from the truth, from what he's about, from what he is, and what he's done. If we don't kill him now, Redeemer is going to destroy the world. And that is the end of the Scorched. Issue number 39, where the Scorched team, their powers are back, but everything is broken beyond repair, including the team chemistry. What you guys think of this comic book review? Comment below, let me know. I like now that they're finally addressing the prophecy of someone in the Scorched being a traitor. It looks like it's the Redeemer, and he's also got that foreshadowing in the beginning of the issue how he sees the future. So maybe he knows it, but hey, this is going to be interesting how this all plays out. So what you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. Thank you again for watching. Until the next upload.